Letter 47. On Slavery. Seneca greets his Lucilius. I was pleased to hear from those who visited you that you live closely and kindly with your slaves. This befits a man of wisdom and learning like yourself. Some might say, they are merely slaves. No, they are human beings. They are slaves, but they are also our companions. They are mere slaves. No, they are humble friends. They are slaves, nothing more. But are we not their fellow slaves, if you remember that fortune has the same power over us all? I laugh at those who think it shameful to dine with their slave. Why, if not for the most arrogant custom, must a dining master be encircled by a crowd of standing slaves? The master eats more than he can hold, overloading his bloated stomach with horrendous greed. His stomach has long abandoned its proper function. He expels all his food with greater effort than he used to swallow it. His poor slaves, however, are not allowed to speak or even move their lips. A whip curbs any mumbling, and also accidental sounds are severely punished. A cough, a sneeze, even a hiccup. They are harshly beaten if any sound breaches the silence. They have to stand there all night, hungry and silent. As a result, those who are not allowed to talk in their master's presence end up talking about him behind his back. Those, however, who were not only permitted to speak in their master's presence, but even to converse with him, whose mouths were not sewn shut, were willing to stick their neck out for their master. They were prepared to divert the danger threatening their master onto their own heads. They spoke during feasts, but remained silent under torture. A common saying of the same arrogance goes, "We have as many enemies as we have slaves." But our slaves are not our enemies when we acquire them. We make them so. I shall skip the other cruelties and inhumane practices, such as treating them as beasts or burden rather than as human beings. When we lay down to eat, one wipes away our spit, while another crawls beneath the couch to collect the waste of his drunken master. One cuts up expensive birds, guiding his skilled hand along the chest and thighs with precise movements. He chops the meat into pieces. Poor fellow who lives for the task of cutting up poultry neatly. He is unfortunate, learning this skill out of necessity rather than for the sake of pleasure. Another servant, dressed up effeminately, must wrestle with his age. He cannot escape his youth, for he is dragged back to it. His appearance, already that of a soldier, is completely rid of its hair. He stays awake all night, caught between his master's drunkenness and lust. In the bedroom, he is a man, but at the banquet, he is a child. Another, who oversees the guests, stands and waits unhappily, evaluating who, through flattery and overindulgence in speech or appetite, will earn an invitation for the following day. Think also of the cooks who are intimately familiar with their master's palate, knowing which flavor excites him, which appearance pleases him, which novelty can arouse his sick stomach, what he will grow tired of from overindulgence, and what he will long for on that specific day. Their master cannot bear to dine with them, as he considers it a diminution of his own dignity to eat at the same table as his servants. Good gods! How many future masters is he creating in these very men? I can still see Callistus's former master, who sold him into slavery, stand before Callistus's door, only to be denied entry as others went in. That servant, who had once been auctioned and placed into the first lot, on which the auctioneer tests his voice, now returned the favor to his master. He denied him entry, as he did not deem him worthy of entering his house. His master sold Callistus, but how much did Callistus make his master pay? Remember that the man that you call your slave has sprouted from the same seed and lives underneath the same heaven as you. He breathes, lives, and will die, just like you. It is just as possible for you to see him as a free man as it is for him to see you as a slave. When Varus was defeated, many men of the highest birth who had hoped to rise to the senatorial rank through their military careers were cast down by fate. One of them became a shepherd, another a house guard. Despise then, if you dare, those whose fates may yet befall you. I do not want to go into too much detail and discuss the treatment of slaves, towards whom we tend to be extremely arrogant, cruel, and hateful. The essence of my teaching is this: live with your inferiors as you would wish your superiors to live with you. Whenever it comes to mind how much power you have over your slave, remember that your master has the same power over you. But I don't have a master, you say. But you are still young. Perhaps you will have one later. Do you not know at what late age Hebuka began to serve, or Croesus, or the mother of Darius, or Plato, or Diogenes for that matter? Live both kindly and courteously with your slaves. Allow them to speak with you, to advise you, to share your company even. At this point, the total band of pampered men will shout at me, "Nothing would be more humiliating, nothing more shameful." I will catch these same men kissing the hand of another man's slave. Do they not even see how our ancestors removed all envy from masters and all insult from slaves? They called the master father of the household, and the slaves its members. They instituted a holiday, not just on which the masters ate with the slaves by exception, but on which they certainly did so. They allowed them to carry out honorary duties within the household. They granted them the right to administer justice. They held the view that the household was a miniature version of the Roman state. So what, you ask, should I now invite all my slaves to join my table? No more than that, you should invite all free men. But you are mistaken if you think that I would reject some, if they were of a lesser profession, such as that mule driver or that plowman. I do not judge them by their duties, but by their character. After all, each man forms their own character, while duties are assigned by chance. Let some eat at your table because they are worthy, and others so that they may become worthy. If anything servile remains in them, resulting from lowly association, then the company of more honorable people will surely remove it. It's not as if you can only find friends in the city square or at the Senate. If you pay close attention, you will find them in your own house. Good material is often wasted by lack of an artist. Try it, and you will find out. Just as one who, when purchasing a horse, does not inspect the animal itself, but only looks at its saddle and reins is a fool, so too is he who judges a person by their clothing or their status, which garments merely surround us. He is a slave. His soul, however, may be free. He is a slave, they say. But will that bother him? Show me the man who isn't a slave. One serves his lust, another his greed, another his ambition, and all answer to fear. I can give you the example of a politician who is enslaved to an old woman, of a rich man who serves his slave girl, and of the noblest young men who are enslaved to pantomime dancers. No servitude is more dishonorable than a voluntary one. This is why you should not let the arrogant discourage you from being cheerful with your slaves, not acting arrogantly superior. Let them respect you rather than fear you. Do you really mean that? Some will say. Should they respect us, like clients who come to offer their morning greeting? Whoever says this forgets that what is sufficient for a god cannot be too little for a master. One who is respected is also loved, and love and fear cannot be mixed. You are therefore most right, not wanting to be feared by your slaves, merely punishing them with words. Beating only befits dumb animals. Not everything that offends us also damages us, but indulgence drives people into madness, to the point that any response that does not align with their wishes provokes their anger. We adopt the temper of kings, for they too, forgetful of both their power and of the weakness of others, flare up in rage and act cruelly as if they have suffered an injury. In fact, their high status keeps them safe from any real harm. The worst of all is that they are well aware of this. In their self-pity, they seize every opportunity to cause harm, even though they are not truly wronged. They act as if they have been injured just so they can retaliate. I shall not delay you any longer, for you have no need of exhortation. This is one of the virtues of good character. It endures and is self-sufficient. Wickedness, on the other hand, is fickle. It often changes, though not for the better, only into something different. Take care.